I noticed two very stark contrasts in the difference between Black people in America and our community versus other races and cultures who have immigrated. Obviously, the historical portions of that are very different for the Black race, but I think there's a collective entitlement to our pain and never being compensated for that. And then there is not the deep reverence for our ancestors and our lineage that there should be, in order to be able to collectively make any sort of natural movement as a people. When you have people infighting, when you have people talking about how you don't applaud fish for swimming as far as their parents and they don't have to respect their parents, and where do you think that this newfound entitlement comes from? The internet. Do you think that living within your community with some of the ignorances that you're faced with in a world that's open the way that it is now, without the internet, without being able to make those connections and get those confirmation biases and get access to information, that you would really be the same person? Can you say what decisions you would have made in the circumstances that your parents had to be in to survive? You're talking about having the privilege provided by your parent of being raised on thriving versus surviving. And a lot of parents were raising us in a generation where they probably diluted a bit of what they had learned from their parents and did the best that they could with the information that they had at the time. If we're going to talk about collectively moving forward, certainly there are things that need to be addressed. We're only at the point of even being able to address those things now because of the fact that those privileges were earned by previous generations. You think everybody in this generation just woke up and was like, we're done with the fucking generational trauma? No. Even the basics of history, of Black history, will tell you that it's been a journey. And if you can't keep deep reverence for the people who had to live through those historical moments, people who had to live with oppressions beyond what you're facing today, when you're watching people get murdered, do you know how many generations of people had to watch people get murdered and it wasn't fucking televised? It was the goddamn, like the circus was in town for a lynching. And I get where everyone is coming from. Because certainly I've been made to feel ostracized from my community based on the way that I speak, based on even seeking mental, wellness, but that don't vilify anyone. The moment that you vilify those within your community, then you victimize yourself. Clearly you've made it out. Clearly you've done better for yourself, but you cannot possibly dismiss the difference in circumstance from those who came before you. Let me take these off so y'all can see my face. You know what I mean? I got on my Clark Kents today because I'm not for the bullshit. It goes with my aesthetic. So my point is, I don't know. I just have a hard time jiving with that. I'm too grateful for my mother, and it's not because I'm brainwashed. It's because I understand that she was dealing with the information that she had at the time. And I think she's a hell of a woman. And I think that if you're living in toxic circumstances with the parent, that's certainly a different situation. And everybody's got to come to that in their own time. You can't, just allow someone forgiveness because they didn't know better. But make sure you keep in mind that it takes time to be attracted to the things that are good for you. Even yourself. What bad habits do you have that you know better than? Okay, then.